So for this, you guys are parents to Theodore. Theodore is in 3rd grade at Couser Elementary. There are 30 other students in his class. He is reluctant to engage in conversation because it takes him a long time. Plus, multiple of Theodore's classmates tease him about stuttering issues. This teasing frequently occurs. There are multiple occasions of bullying documented by the staff and addressed but not solved. He is now feeling frustrated and anxious because he knows what he wants to say, but he cannot get the words out. This has developed into an anxiety of talking with peers and participating in the classroom. Theodore's classmates and teachers do not have much knowledge on fluency disorders. Because of this, he is not getting the accommodations needed to thrive. Unfortunately, there is no accommodation strategies or self-advocacy being provided to support Theodore in his classroom. Because of his stuttering, Theodore has isolated himself at school. He does not have a place where he feels comfortable speaking. This is just kind of to give you guys a background on your child. I have videos of stuttering and so you guys can get. Okay, this is a video. Okay, sure. This is the video of an example of stuttering, of kind of what Theodore's stuttering looks like. I don't know how to turn the volume up on this. Well, there should be a remote. Okay. Yes. Okay, perfect.
Sometimes I worry about my speech because I don't know what's gonna happen next, and I don't know if I'm gonna stutter on one word or the next.
And they always get me stuck on stuff when we're with an S at the beginning.
Speech therapy has helped me by giving me rules to have smooth speech.
Awesome. Okay, that is an example of stuttering, and then here will be an example of normal
All children
disfluencies. She kind of explains it in the beginning.
have repetitions, hesitations, and disruptions in their speech when learning to talk. We call these disfluencies. They may have more of these when they're using complicated language, or are tired, excited, upset, or being rushed to speak. Let's take a look at some normal repetitions that most children have as they are learning to talk.
We all were trying to find him, and you know what? We let them go so they can find their mom and a new home. And when tonight, I got this bowl for my family.
Okay. Perfect. Those are just some examples just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about later on. Alright. I think it's super important for you parents to understand what stuttering is and how we can get help and support for Theodore. This presentation aims to shed light on onset fluency disorders. Stuttering affects 1% of the global population. It's typically between ages 2 to 6, and these disorders impact communication, social interactions, and emotional well-being. First off, what is stuttering? Stuttering is a neurological speech disorder that affects the flow of speaking. There's multiple different reasons and causes and how the brain can coordinate speech movements. It's important to know it's not due to anxiety or lack of intelligence. In those videos, if you remember, the second video we watched, that was examples of typical stuttering, because if you've ever, I'm sure you guys have noticed with Theodore when he's repeating a whole word, or other children, kind of like the little girl was repeating a whole phrase like instead of just saying blah blah blah. That's whole word repetitions. It's also not, it's more occasional, it's not as often. There's not struggle or tension, and the child is usually unaware. For atypical, so for stuttering, so kind of like what Theodore has, these are sound or syllable repetitions, so like the la, 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 prolongations, like long, something like that, prolonging those phonemes. The facial tension, blinking, and struggling behaviors. If you notice the second child, he kind of like scrunched up his face a little bit trying to get the word out, and the child may show frustration or avoid talking if they feel embarrassed by their stuttering. Disruptions in speech. Stuttering is characterized by disruptions in speech flow. It can manifest as repetitions, prolongations, and blocks. I have another video kind of explaining these more just because I'm no professional on this quite yet, and hearing it from actual speech pathologists with their CCC. So here's more specific examples on the different types of stuttering, and it will help you be able to point it out with Theodore.
Hello, my name is Leanne Sherritt. I'm a speech-language pathologist and the President and Chief Clinical Officer here at Expressible. Thank you for joining me to learn more about stuttering. You're likely here because you or someone you love is impacted by a stutter. You may have some understanding of what stuttering is, but in this video, we'll explain the 3 types of stuttering and what they sound like. Stuttering can be defined as a disruption to the smoothness or fluency of a person's speech. This may be through the repeating of words, stretching out a sound longer than needed, or difficulty getting sounds and words out. There are many different aspects of stuttering and different ways it can appear in a person's speech. However, 3 types of stuttering are most common. These are referred to as stuttering-like disfluencies. The first type we'll cover are called repetitions. Repetitions are when a person repeats the first sound or syllable of a word at least 3 times more than is needed. It may sound like this. I want a snack, or put that away. A second type of stuttering is called a prolongation. Prolongations are when a person holds out a sound for too long to where the speech sounds abnormal. It may sound like see the airplane, or where are you? The third and last example is called a block. Blocks are when a person is unable to move their mouth and use their voice to continue speaking. No voice or sound comes out during a block. Here's an example of a block. I am so tired. You may not know that other physical characteristics can come along with stuttering. These are called secondary behaviors. A person who stutters may have coexisting facial or body movements and characteristics that occur as they stutter. These can be physical tension in the face, neck, or anywhere else in the body, facial grimacing, eye blinking, movement of another part of the body such as the arm, leg, or foot, avoiding eye contact or turning away from the conversation partner, or changes in vocal pitch or volume. Every person who's
Awesome. Okay, this kind of just was telling you guys, giving you more examples of stuttering that you may see in Theodore. Okay. These are just kind of some fun facts. For stuttering, early detection is really important, so we can get them in speech therapy. So I'm really happy that we're talking about this now. Boys are actually more likely to continue stuttering. Stuttering is something normal, but late onset after 3.5 years, it may indicate persistent stuttering, and family history also increases the risk of stuttering. Alright, I promise these are my last videos, but here's some examples of some fluency shaping techniques. We're not going to watch the whole video, but I'm going to show you guys examples of easy onset and light contact. It will also have you guys practice. Feel free to practice them if you're not wanting to, that's completely fine, but this might give you guys some ideas of things to practice with Theodore at home.
The onset. This can also be called easy starts because you're starting your speech with the muscles, a little slow stretch at the beginning, and you're releasing some air before you turn on your voice to get that forward air flowing. Now we're gonna do some examples together. I'm gonna say a word regularly, and then I'm gonna say it again using easy onset so you can hear the difference. Then you're gonna practice with easy onset. Our first word is nacho, because I have a nacho on my shirt. Are you ready? Nacho. Nacho.
Do you guys hear the difference?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then the example of the other one. Eye contact.
Contact. In order to do this one, you're gonna need to know what your articulators are. Articulators is just a big word that means the different parts of your mouth that you use and move when you talk. Your articulators are your tongue, lips, and teeth.
When you use light contact, you're going to be very gentle when you put the parts of your mouth together to make sounds. You don't want a lot of tension and pressure. You want it to be very gentle and touch very lightly like a feather. For example, if I'm going to say the word muffin, I don't want to have a lot of tension and do a hard contact when I press my lips together like muffin. Ooh, that was too tense. I want to have a light contact, a gentle touch like muffin. Or if I wanted to say the
Did you guys hear that one as well?
Yeah.
Those are some easy strategies for you guys to practice with Theodore at home. There's also prolonged syllables, so stretching sounds deliberately. This one is like kind of hard though because this can be considered stuttering if you prolong the syllable for too long. The do's and don'ts to responding to stuttering. Now that we've like kind of explained what stuttering is and maybe you guys can identify some of the things that you recognize in Theodore, it's really important how we respond to Theodore because this can manifest his behaviors. The do's, being patient and attentive, maintaining eye contact, listening fully, just don't be impatient, don't rush him, model slow, relaxed speech. You can use some of those strategies, easy onset, light contact. Don't tell him to slow down. Just slow your own speech to create a calm environment. Using pauses, give natural breaks in your own speech, just modeling. Acknowledge it positively, so maybe he said a hard word. Hey, that was a really tricky word. Good job getting through it. And then reassure your child. Let them know it's okay to stutter and they don't have to rush. Some of the big don'ts. You may think it's beneficial to say slow down or take a deep breath. Don't say that. That's not. It's kind of negative. Just let them figure it out on their own. More modeling. Because they are aware of their stuttering. Interrupting or finishing their sentences, use parents. There's probably been times where people have interrupted you and that's frustrating, and if he can't get his words out and somebody finishes it for him, it's just making it so he can't communicate. And then don't react negatively or show frustration. I feel like that's pretty obvious. It's important to know the do's and don'ts because there's a lot more to stuttering. It can cause anxiety about communication. Actually, if you guys open your pamphlet on the left, it talks a little bit more about these things. The anxiety about communication, potential social avoidance. So Theodore might start avoiding those social situations. That's so important for a child to develop. And reduce self-confidence. Stuttering can cause anxiety, social avoidance, reduced confidence. Holistic approach addresses both speech and emotional aspects. Awesome. The path forward. Okay, so we obviously want to get Theodore the help, and you guys obviously feel the same because you're here right now. Some things that we can help with: speech therapy, professional help is key. Treatment options, there's multiple approaches available. And then stuff for you guys, reducing tension, focus on relaxation, and being patient with Theodore and helping building his confidence. Awesome. And then, what questions do you guys have?
How long is therapy gonna take?
This depends on your child. Some kids are in speech therapy for years and some just a couple months.
Could his stutter be linked to any other developmental delays?
This is something that maybe, but I can't say that. We would have to get an evaluation from another speech therapist, which you can do when you sign them up for speech therapy.
What should I do when they get stuck on a word?
So like we said in the do's and don'ts, it's also in your pamphlet. There's the do's, just the big thing is being patient and reinforcing.
Is there something that I did to cause him to have a stutter?
Nope, there's no evidence that proves that parents like help make kids stutter. I guess like it's nothing about you guys. Sometimes kids just have harder things they struggle with. Any more questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, perfect. One last thing before we end. On the back of your pamphlet, there's resources and next steps. I have a couple websites up there if you guys still have questions about stuttering, or you can reach out to me. And then here's some recommended apps for Theodore. There's Speech Blubs. Speech Blubs is an awesome app designed to target speech sound disorders. It encourages verbal practice in low pressure environment, repetition, and more. It also has parent involvement features, so that's cool for you guys. It's like a fun game for him. He won't even realize he's really working on speech. But those repetition outside of speech therapy is super helpful. There's also Scene Speak. It has customizable features that can support kids with fluency onset disorders. You can create personalized social stories. It enhances communication and confidence. And again, you guys have involvement. Practice those strategies that we learned about today, easy onset and line contact. And then lastly, I'm gonna end with this. Starting does not mean your child will struggle forever. Many children learn to manage it and communicate confidently. With the right strategies and support, you can help your child become a strong, successful communicator. And that's everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.